On March 29th, there was a copyright takedown notice against this video, my final take on the last episode of Season 3 of Succession. It had been up for several months, approved by YouTube. Though not guilty of anything the media company alleged, I did not bother to appeal this capricious and arbitrary strike. The studio decides, so what chance do I have? For the record, they don't even tell you what you've done wrong. In any event, I wanted anyone who wished to still have access to the video to be able to see it. As a result, I used many more still images, but at least in this form, you can still hear my take, for whatever it might be worth. And now, without further ado, the forbidden episode.
How do we feel about killing Dad? Mixed feelings?
Pass me the fucking shotgun.
Okay, spoilers. There's an old adage, when building a business, either you build a company that will last forever, say like Coca-Cola, or else you create a business that's just a business, which you eventually sell and get what you can for it. This is what Logan calls making your own fucking pile. In this episode, the final one of Season 3, entitled All the Bells Say, a line from poet John Berryman's dream song, Logan seems to have chosen the latter course, sell out while he can, and the price is still favorable. Like Logan himself, Waystar Royco is beginning to show its age. Logan feels certain that he'll never be in a better position to sell out and make his pile just a little bigger.
I don't get out, I leave $5 billion on the table.
In part, he urgently wishes to make a deal because of how his company is seen. Stewie says it best.
People don't love the sector, and they don't love the fucking firm. It's Ramshackle is the view. And bro, they don't love you.
Upon realizing that Lukas Matsson will be willing to pay a premium for Waystar, Logan calls an audible and goes off in an unexpected direction that shocks everyone, and he very much takes the sound advice he offered Nan Pierce in Season 2.
Would you like to hear my favorite passage from Shakespeare? Take the fucking money.
The final episode starts off unexpectedly, with Logan sitting with Iverson and Sophie and assuring them that Kendall is okay. The last time we saw Kendall, in the last minutes of episode 8, he was drunk and had fallen asleep on his floaty. Off camera, Kendall was apparently saved by Comfrey. Witnessing Logan spending time with his grandkids is shockingly out of character, but then Logan receives a phone call, and things quickly revert to form. As Matsson later puts it, Logan must either beef up or sell out. This is about the size of it, and that's his real focus, Logan's, not reading to Iverson or spending time with Sophie. Everything that subsequently takes place in this episode has to do with how the dynamic of the family has evolved, all of Logan's failsafes. No one knows who will be the heir apparent. The children separately have a hard time evaluating what is going on because they do not communicate easily, and each one strongly believes that they alone are the future CEO of Waystar. Ego and endless distractions in each of their lives allows Logan to do pretty much whatever he wishes. But there is an inherent contradiction in the Roy family. They all want to be in charge and can't really share power between them. Not knowing who is top dog and each thinking they can still be that dog has made a toxic, sickening swamp of their lives. Only their mother Carolyn seems to get this. Though distant from them, an absence in their lives, as Shiv puts it in episode 8, Carolyn still observes and understands how this has made them distrustful of each other. She sees this as being inherently bad for the children. Albeit for entirely selfish reasons, Kendall did try to lead a coup against Logan, but it did not succeed. His siblings won't be led by anyone except Logan, since they instinctively perceive their fellow siblings as rivals. This is his genius. Logan has them taking out all their frustrations on one another more than on him.
Rome, you know Dad is never gonna choose you because he thinks there's something wrong with you. You're addicted to booze and to drugs and relationships and sex and work and the family drama.
Self-esteem doesn't have a lot of place to bloom in the Roy family. This raises an important question. How did they get here? To a point where the very corporation they all dream of leading is being taken out of family control. It comes down to this. There are succession intrigues, that is, fascinating distractions, if you will, and then there's the plot proper of what's actually happening within the company. But these intrigues inevitably leak into the larger plot. That might not be totally clear, so let me give an example. It is an intrigue that in the previous episode, Shiv said, not totally in jest, that she did not really love Tom, and in this final episode, she continues down this dismissive, denigrating road.
The silly Forbes profile piece. I'm turning ATN citizens into a cash machine and they want to know how I did it.
Well, by turning on the Bigot Spigot.
Now, these kinds of exchanges are really an intrigue about the instability and peculiarity of their marriage, but Tom's feelings are being effectively abandoned by Shiv This comes into the plot when Tom ultimately decides that he's better off trusting Logan than throwing in with his own wife and his brothers-in-law to block the sale of the company. And it's worth noting that arriving at this decision, backing Logan over Shiv, didn't seem too difficult for Tom. Tom witnesses Shiv betraying her own father.
Logan Roy ailing, prayers to the big man, thinking of taking a step back.
So we can cite you as sources, yeah?
Yeah, I will stand it up.
Similarly, Roman has a lot of information about what's unfolding at Lukas Matsson's house, but he is still more determined to keep Tom and Shiv out of the loop than he is in sharing vital information and even protecting his own interests. As a result, Shiv is not told that Matsson proposed buying Waystar outright, not merging with it. Again, Roman's secrecy is an intrigue, but it becomes a vital part of the plot as it unfolds. Shiv would have otherwise been able to add this all up, but Roman is threatened by Shiv. Kendall was entirely cut out of everything, or he too might have known where Logan was going with all this, but he was told nothing. Connor is fixated on petty slights and Willa's potential answer to his marriage proposal.
And I proposed to my fiancée. And no one has said congratulations.
As previously stated, Shiv has alienated herself completely from Tom. Also, Greg was disrespected by everyone. Why would he ever feel loyalty toward either Kendall or Roman? Kendall called him the world's biggest parasite, while Roman dismisses him even while seeking information from him.
There are a number of advisors in town from Lion Tree, and they don't like the feel of the hard Italian pillows. It's a private chat.
Yeah,
so.
shut up, Barry. Thank you.
In many ways, nothing has changed from the second episode of Season 1, when Roman requested that Greg retrieve one of Logan's sweaters, so that while Logan was hospitalized, Roman could have something that smelled like his father.
I'll sniff some stuff for you.
Just whatever. And if you tell anyone about this, I will cut your dick off. Thank you. So fuck off.
They finally put everything together by the end, even including the Macaroon to improve Logan's chances of siring a new clan, but it's just a little too late. All the kids working together might have stopped Logan, but they would not heed Kendall's prescient understanding of what it would take to defeat Logan Roy. The overwhelming number of intrigues, including Kendall's close call with drowning, have rendered such past considerations seemingly irrelevant. Regarding Kendall, no one really knows whether it was just too much alcohol or whether the situation was a cry for help. Comfrey strongly intimates that it's the latter when she starts revealing how deluded Kendall has grown, how broken he is. Her sad smile reveals a lot. His story about being interviewed by Vanity Fair turns out to be wishful thinking only.
We have been talking to Vanity Fair, but it's mostly us calling them.
With regard to the future of Waystar, the meeting with Lukas Matsson, while Roman is present, reveals a lot. For example, upon their arrival, Matsson ignores Roman entirely. He seems confident to the point of arrogance.
We're flying like a fucking rocket ship and you're sinking like a lead balloon.
Generally, Logan does not like being spoken to in this manner. He is accustomed to helping choose presidents, not taking criticism from a relative upstart. And yet Matsson is also respectful of Logan's feelings.
Honestly, you're fucking bulletproof.
Then he reveals what he really wants, to take over Waystar and to take it out of family control.
Now, if that's an option, if that's something you would consider, then let's talk.
Once Logan knows why Matsson is willing to go the extra mile to make things work, for this deal to go through, Logan is strongly motivated to sell out while he can. Logan is impressed with Matsson, who comes across as aggressive and succinct and likable and capable and self-made, without all the Roman, Shiv, Kendall, Connor baggage. It seems that Logan is fed up with America and Americans, keeping in mind that he himself is a European import.
When I arrived, there were these gentle giants smelling of fucking gold and milk. They pissed it all away.
Lukas Matsson is not an American. In essence, Matsson says all the right things, and he checks all the right boxes. He is respectful.
I don't want to be rude because you're a legend.
He gently strokes Logan's ego.
I would want you to maintain prestige. I'm not about making you small.
Yet he's also earnest and believable.
It would be your board.
But I would structure it so fucking nice for you.
And he has the chutzpah to ask to buy Logan outright. Matsson is even able to communicate using his eyes only that he wants Logan to get rid of Roman, to get the real deal underway.
Cool.
Roman, you better get back.
Despite a great disparity in age, it turns out that Logan and Matsson speak the same language, the language of the self-made. The older legendary man suddenly realizes that his company might survive best if it passed into the hands of an energetic, charismatic up-and-comer, a self-made man, a younger, vibrant version of the man Logan had once been. While the plot is unfolding here at Matsson's house, consider all the intrigues going on elsewhere with Shiv, Kendall, Connor, and Roman. The events at Matsson's are paradigm shifting, whereas the kids are fixated upon things of no particular consequence except perhaps to themselves. In fact, they're kind of talking at one another more than to one another. There is Kendall's incident on the floaty.
I fell off my fucking floaty.
There is Connor's concern over how the merger of equals option might affect his presidential aspirations.
I am the eldest son, and no one told me about this fucking merger of fucking equals and what.
There is Roman, up to his old tricks of trying to keep Shiv out of the business.
You know? Is the deal good?
Yeah, all will be revealed.
The fuck does that mean?
And Shiv continues to make mommy lover jokes at Roman's expense.
When they come past, you should tell Mom that you love her. Imagine that, if you could marry Mommy on her wedding day.
Important things are transpiring, but the intrigues, they're just wasted time. Only too late does Roman decide that something big is probably unfolding with Matsson, and he finally decides to share the news with Shiv.
Matsson did float, as an idea, that maybe they buy us.
Shiv's people quickly confirm what's unfolding, and it does not bode well for the Roy siblings.
They pay a premium, Dad cashes out, and takes a few assets, but it's Matsson's fucking board.
The children are clearly being left out in the cold, and despite overwhelming evidence to support this viewpoint, including his own eyes, Roman is deluded enough to believe that he's actually being considered to head the company that Logan is selling to Matsson.
Where do you think we fit on Matsson's new org chart, Rom?
We don't know how this is going to play out just yet.
You think Daddy's protecting you?
The deal for Matsson to purchase Waystar is a business transaction being conducted by two grown adults. But beyond stopping the deal, Shiv, Roman, and Kendall have no cogent counterproposal to salvage Waystar. This becomes obvious when Tom asks a simple question and Shiv is vague, like always.
Where do I fit in, Shiv?
Well, high up, Tom. I don't know. We'll figure it out, though.
Tom's feelings of being eternally taken for granted are not unwarranted. Quite the contrary. At various points, Shiv, Kendall, and Roman treat him as an outsider. Only Logan has ever welcomed Tom. When the kids attempt to stop the deal, Logan displays great indignation.
You're playing toy fucking soldiers!
It is reminiscent of what he says to Kendall at Josh Aronson's island.
Face it, son. You lost.
Except he says it much, much louder.
I have! You beat morons!
And he even answers why he's doing this.
Why? Because it works.
Someone tips Logan off that his children will try to stop the deal by utilizing the supermajority clause in the holding company's bylaws, but Logan cleverly sidesteps this by getting Carolyn to reopen the divorce agreement in exchange for a luxurious London apartment, thereby getting the clause overturned. The original agreement granted the children veto power over any sale of the company, but with it removed, they can't stop Logan from doing whatever he wishes. Logan mocks his children's impotence.
Well, no, because you need a supermajority in the holding company.
Because you need a supermajority.
Logan's so sure of himself that it seems likely he knew what was happening all along. But how?
Who told him that we were coming?
Tom is probably the one, since he tends to go with what works. He figures Logan will win anyway, so he warns Logan that Shiv, Roman, and Kendall are finally working together to stop the sale of the company. Ultimately, Tom values Logan's pledge not to forget that he offered to go to jail for Logan without any precondition.
I'll step up and go down.
That's it? You don't want anything?
No.
Of course, this episode does raise certain issues, legal and otherwise. Connor's place in the holding company might not have been compromised by Carolyn's decision to sell out her own children, since Connor is not related to Carolyn. It's not his mother, so his legal connection to the company may differ slightly. In other words, he might be in a position to survive better than the other three. He is, after all, the eldest son.
I'm the eldest son. I'm the eldest son. And I must be considered, and I need to be taken into account.
In a moment of great tragedy and drama in this episode, Roman begs, like a young child, for Jerry to help the siblings stop Logan from selling the company out from under them. But she is just another company man in the end.
I'm focused on whatever outcome best serves the financial interests of the shareholders of the company. How does it serve my interests?
Kendall's accident in the swimming pool may have larger repercussions. It might well have convinced Logan that none of his children are fit to succeed him. Logan may be old and infirm, but we never see him totally out of control like Kendall. Nor is Logan capable of the level of naivete that Shiv displays when she seems to be arguing that the siblings are capable of stopping Logan. It's as if she never even met Logan if she thinks a legal clause in an old document is going to stop him from getting exactly what he wants. Similarly, Logan would never make the mistake of mentioning love, another unforced error by Roman, this time out of desperation, in the middle of a gigantic business transaction. This only serves to enrage Logan further.
You bust him here, guns in hand, and now you find they've turned to fucking sausages. You talk about love?
Logan is teaching his kids a much-needed lesson about life. Intrigues are all well and good, but they are decidedly a distraction from what matters, amassing an even larger pile. It is unknown whether Logan is building a new pile for the purpose of starting a new family with Carrie, but for the sake of argument, it would make some sense, since he thinks so little of all the current kids individually and collectively that he trusts Lukas Matsson to determine their respective fates.
Really, with Matsson calling the shots, we're strung up in the town square.
No. He rates you. You have my word.
It is doubtful that any of the three would pass muster with Matsson, who has pretty high standards.
Now I'm sleeping on a camping mat on the floor until I get a deep dive on the best mattress in the world.
The prospect of being rated by Matsson sounds a lot like a parent disciplining a child and then repeating that old chestnut, "It hurts me more than it hurts you." If you're the one taking the punishment, it always feels differently, as it certainly does for the three Roy children. It seems likely that all three would be weighed, measured, and found wanting by Matsson. Just 3 more inferior mattresses to be lugged to the curb. So there you have it, my take on the final episode of Season 3. It was a challenge making these 9 videos for you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit like or subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, for your support. I hope you'll return to watch other videos that I have made.
You know what? Fuck it. Come on, how bad can it be?
Come on, Dad. What are you gonna do with the $5 bill? Put it on your pile with all your other fucking bill?
Probably, yeah.